So we're Chris and Joy Copeland. We're serving in Galway, Ireland. We attended South probably between 2016 to 2018 or 19, somewhere in there. We left for Ireland in 2020.
We have 3 boys. Gavin is 18, Gage is 19, and Garrison's 21.
We're working with a church, Galway Baptist Church. It's in Knocknacara.
We are really diverse, our church. So we have a huge population from Africa, all over Africa. And then we have a lot from Eastern Europe and
India.
Yeah,
Asia.
We have so many cultures.
So we did a service where worship was in French and Hindi and Sotu and Zulu, and like we actually, and so that was a challenge for me because I'm playing and I'm trying to follow along in words that are written in Hindi, which I don't read, and they're characters, so it's not.
Could you do that for us today?
I could probably maybe play that song I played because I basically had her like sing it and then point to where I should change the chords because I could not read along to what she was doing, so that was a challenge. But it was so beautiful to see each person worshiping the Lord in their own language. And it just reminded me of the, Revelation, where all of the nations and tribes and languages are standing together praising the Lord. And one of the ministries that we didn't expect was our boys, Gage and Gavin, went to a Catholic, it was an all-boys high school when they went the first year. Second year, they integrated with the girls' school. Well, they started to make friends, started to kind of, feel a little bit settled. And they decided, hey, Dad, Mom, can we have our friends over and play a role-playing game, Dungeons & Dragons, like tweak the stories to kind of engage our friends evangelistically? And we were like, oh yeah, absolutely. Like, we'd love to do that and see what kind of conversations that opens with these guys. So they did, and Joy and I, like from the beginning, we were like, okay, we're gonna just accept these kids as they are. We're gonna love them, we're gonna make them feel at home. We want our house to be a safe place, right? Like none of them went to church.
Nope.
Maybe a couple of them kind of believed in God, but many of them didn't.
One of them's.
And so we made dinner for them and we would pray with them. And pretty soon they started coming, like outside of D&D, they'd come and hang out with us. And, we'd just chat and started asking questions. They even started coming over when our kids aren't there. Like, our kids went to the States last summer, and they all still came over to our house to hang out and have dinner and
so much fun.
Chat. Yeah, so I mean, they've become.
It's a lot of fun.
2 of them have already said that when they get married, they're going to have us be their aunt and uncle for their kids. So one of the kids, his name is Alex. We thought this guy is going to be the last one to ever, give his life to the Lord.
He would kind of make fun of the boys for their relationship with God, or kind of say stuff under his breath about Jesus. And
so, because of the war in Ukraine, Ireland let in a bunch of Ukrainian refugees, and soon there was some Ukrainian refugees at our little church. And I remember preaching one Sunday, and there's this guy in like the middle row I hadn't met yet. And as I'm preaching, he's like nodding his head, and he's like really emphatic about what I'm saying. I was like, wow, this guy's really getting what I'm saying today. Turns out he didn't speak any English at all, right? Ukrainian, no English, but he just wanted to be a part of everything. He wanted to engage. So when we found out that they don't speak English, Joy's like, there's got to be something we can do.
So then we leave church that day, and we get in the car, and I said to the boys, hey, do you guys know anybody who speaks Russian? And they said, oh yeah, Alex. And I said, would you text him and find out if he will be our interpreter?
So he's sitting in church, and turns out Igor is a leader in the Ukrainian church that he came from. And so Igor kind of looked at Alex and says, do you know what you're telling me? Like, what you're interpreting for me? Do you understand this? Like the difference between believers and non-believers? And Alex is like, not really. And he's like, oh, starts digging into the Bible. This is during the sermon, digging into the Bible, flipping pages, showing them underlined stuff. And then one day after church, Igor walks up to me with Alex, and through Alex's translation says, Alex is ready to give his life to the Lord. And I was like, great. So we prayed right there in church, and he's been coming to church with us ever since. It's been over a year now.
A year in July.
So it's been incredible to watch his faith grow. And that was like one of the most encouraging things that's happened over the last couple of years for us.
That's one of the biggest prayers for our ministry, because what started as the boys' ministry with their group of friends has carried over.
Every month, the The Europe Mat team meets from south with us. So we zoom in, us and another missionary. We basically talk about some of our stories and we share our prayer requests. And so if anybody who's here this morning is interested in joining that group, we would love more people to be engaged with that. And we'd love for us to get to know you as you get to know us through that process.
And watching the gospel spread through Europe.
Yeah.
Because that's what the Mat team is for.
Yeah. So we'd love more people to be a part of that. So talk to Dave Schugert. He'd get you hooked up.